The Finding Purpose podcast is proudly brought to you by Relive the Moments, founded by visionary entrepreneur John Lim. We live in a world where it's easy to capture memories, but Relive the Moments makes it effortless to re-experience and share them. From NFC-enabled tap coasters and photo frames to interactive video cards, Relive the Moments turns everyday objects into unforgettable tap-to-experience keepsakes. Imagine gifting a wedding guest a coaster that instantly opens your highlight reel, or giving your event sponsors a custom frame that tells your story with just one tap. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, planning a wedding, honoring a legacy, or elevating a brand experience, Relive the Moments is the bridge between the past and present, between memory and connection. It's not just a product, it's an experience. Visit www.relivethemoments.com and use promo code PURPOSE for 25% off your first order. Let's bring your memories to life, one tap at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm your host, Adam Vora, and I'm so grateful to have you here. This podcast is all about exploring the journeys of incredible individuals, people who have faced adversity, found their purpose, and are now making an impact in their communities. But it's also about my journey. Over the years, I've faced my own obstacles, moments of doubt, and struggles with identity. Through it all, I found my purpose in giving back, creating a space where people can detach from the negative emotions and stigmas they may associate with their own stories, just like I did with mine. Here, we have real conversations about growth, resilience, and transformation. Whether you're searching for direction, striving for personal development, or simply looking for a place to feel seen and understood, this is for you. So if these conversations resonate with you, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with us on social media. Now let's dive into today's episode.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Finding Purpose podcast. I'm Adam, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts or watching on the official YouTube channel of the Finding Purpose podcast, thank you for showing up. If you haven't yet, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share. It helps us continue growing this amazing community. Last week's episode with John Lim gave us a deep dive into what it means to lead with vision, heart, and innovation. If you haven't caught that one, I highly recommend going back and giving it a listen. Today's guest brings a powerful balance of discipline, intellect, and empathy. Stefanie Rusin is a proud graduate of John Jay College of Criminal Justice, where she earned dual bachelor's degrees in criminal justice and political science, along with minors in international law and philosophy, and an associate's degree in criminal justice. She spent over 15 years working behind the scenes in finance, leading in compliance operations and corporate event planning. She's also a NASM-certified personal trainer and the co-host of the WhyGo Project Podcast, a show grounded in real, raw conversation with a mission that one less person feels a little less alone. This episode is a conversation about identity, resilience, the many ways purpose shows up quietly and powerfully through the work we do and the people we serve. Let's get into it. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for taking the train up.
Oh my God.
You know,
anytime.
It was probably like kind of hot, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm glad you made it.
Yeah. No, Metro North is nice. Metro North I can deal with. That's I like it. It's not
Nice.
It's not too bad.
You shared your location, so I was watching you, and I was like, all right, I think she's here. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But either way, you know, one of the reasons why I wanted you here is because like when we met. Obviously we met through Tony Pex's circle, and then we kind of connected, and I really liked your energy. And and then when I found out that you were embarking on that journey with Lauren Friedman on the podcast, I thought it was like, you know, really awesome. And I wanted to kind of learn more about you.
Yeah.
And, you know, just talk about, you know, your journey a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So really quick, I guess the best place to start is at the beginning.
At the beginning.
At the beginning. So born and raised in Astoria, Queens.
You a Mets fan?
No, I'm a Yankees fan. I believe in winning. I like
Fair.
to win.
Fair.
I don't do the my entire team sucks brigade. No, thank you.
Or the good in May.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't subscribe to that. I will go to the Bronx for that.
Yeah.
So born and raised in Astoria, Queens, from a Croatian, very, very Eastern European family background. We were, family is everything. It was literally the core of like my whole upbringing. Went to private school pretty much my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, product of private school. It's so mom and dad. My mom was an accountant. My dad was a manager at Saks Fifth Avenue. So they were in sales, and we were very, very, very blessed.
Yeah.
I traveled everywhere. Like
Really?
everywhere. You name it, I've been there. By the age of like 15, I had more passports and more stamps on my passport than most people probably have in their entire life. My parents made it very clear they want us very cultured. They want us very well-rounded. I didn't understand that that's a privilege. So I didn't get that. I loved, by the way, you did an episode with the Burn Down podcast recently.
I did.
Yes. And one thing I loved, I was laughing hysterically to myself because I forgot who said it, but somebody said, they're like, yeah, so-and-so spoke 5 languages. And I'm like, yeah, so what's the big deal? We all like, that's like a big thing.
He was talking about the waiter.
Yes.
He was talking about the waiter who was bouncing from table to table.
Exactly.
And he was talking to German family in German or French family in French, or Spanish and
there's like Mandarin, I think, somewhere in the middle.
Mandarin,
Yeah. So it was like, I didn't understand that was a privilege. And I'm like, doesn't everyone travel to Europe for like 3 months out of the year and go to Disney World? Like, And my mom had to check me one time. And my mom's like, let me make this perfectly clear to you, young lady. Not everyone spends summers on the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And I learned that very quickly.
Do you have a big family?
Huge family. So I have a sister who is 6 years younger than me. And she is a cop in the South Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty badass. I'm super proud of her. And but like Christmas was like at least 30 people. A lot of aunts, uncles. Everyone's loud. Everyone's like, people like meet me and they see my energy and they're like, you're so fugazi. Like, no, that's fake. I'm like, no, jerk.
That's funny.
But they think it's like I'm some kind of like fictional character. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, meet my family, please, for the love of God. Come over for Sunday dinner one night. So it was.
Are your parents first generation?
I'm first generation.
You're okay, yeah.
Mom and dad were born over there. They
Croatia.
came, literally, not buckets of piss in and a window to throw it out of type of thing. And they just built everything that they have.
How many languages do you speak?
So Croatian is my first language. Then I learned English. I actually went to school with a little bit of an accent, and they wanted to put me in ESL, English as a second language. And my father's like, no, you're not going to do that. She'll learn. She'll get it. She'll learn. She'll pick it up. And it took me like 2 or 3 weeks. And by 2 or 3 weeks later, the Croatian accent was replaced by the New York accent. And
I don't really think you're accented.
Thank you.
All right, now I do.
Yeah.
I heard
All
it
right, never mind.
Sorry. But no, like I love that travel was a huge part of your childhood because I think like travel, I traveled a lot as a kid too because my dad worked for IBM and he would rack up points traveling. So we would travel we traveled to Hawaii a lot. That was like the spot
I've never
we'd go
been.
to.
Okay.
But my dad's Indian, so we'd go to India. We did Europe, we did Israel. A lot of places that kind of had significance. My mom was Persian Jewish, so we were traveling. What do you think? Like, I don't know. Like, I think being well traveled does teach you a lot, and like kind of builds up the tolerance that you have for others.
100%, absolutely. It definitely builds up tolerance because I don't think I would be able to actually tolerate people. Like I look at people and I'm like, all right, they don't. I hate saying it like this, but like, all right, they don't know any better. I get it. Fine.
Yeah,
I understand. But yeah, it was a lot. It was fun. It was, we had family over there, we have family over here, we have family everywhere, and it was a really great vibe like growing up, and I'm so blessed to be able to say that I experienced that, because obviously not many people have even left the country, let alone have done what I done. So I grew up in that aspect. I grew up very, very blessed. On the flip side, though, as much as there was love and there was a lot in Eastern European culture, there's also the emotional aspect of it wasn't there. We'll just call it what it is. It's it wasn't, there was no, it was just deal with it. And that's fine at 35, where I am now in life.
Yeah.
But that's not okay at the age of 12. I can't. And there was a lot of, junior high school, which is definitely part of my story. It was bad. I will say that. I went to a private school. The effed up.
Was it all girls?
No, it was co-ed.
Okay.
It was, the messed up part about this was that my parents were paying for this education. My parents worked very, very, very hard, paid for the education that I have, and I was getting the shit kicked out of me.
Really?
Day in, day out, thrown into lockers. I'll never forget. One girl actually said to me, it was an everyday occurrence. And one girl actually said to me, I fell asleep during class one time, and I just felt something weird on my wrist. And she said to me that, she's like, I told you to kill yourself. Why didn't you? So now I'm going to have to do it for you.
Wait, she said that to you?
Yeah, we were 12.
That's wild. And obviously you said that, was it a boarding school?
No, it was here. It was in Queens.
So you'd go to school, you'd come back, and you tell this to your parents, and it was kind of like a deal with the situation.
Yeah.
Wow, that's I could kind of relate to that in a certain extent, but my mom had a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
So, she was the one who I'd go to when things happened and I wanted, to be nurtured,
Yeah.
Do you think that's a cultural thing?
I do. I definitely think so. I know people that share that same experience, kind of it was all right, just deal with it. And whatever it is, just deal with it. Throw yourself on autopilot and just deal with it. And it didn't work out for 12-year-old me, but it worked out for 35-year-old business professional me, who it's just all right, put yourself on autopilot, handle your shit, and just deal with it. And you'll figure it out later. And eventually you're going to have to figure it out later.
Yeah.
So that went on for about 3 years. And 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, I want to say. And it was just I remember graduating, and I was 14 years old, and 14-year-old me made a promise.
Graduating middle school?
Yeah, graduating middle school, entering into high school.
Yeah.
And I made a promise to myself, I will never, ever, ever let anyone ever speak to me like that, make me feel like that. And the minute I do, I leave. That's the whole thing. I will remove myself from any type of negative energy like that. And it's been interesting to see that. And
what sparked you to make that decision?
I think when you just feel like shit every single day for 3 years, it's shitty. You don't want to feel like that. So if no one's going to protect you, you got to protect you. And and you have to make promises to yourself, and you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, and you have to be all right, if this person, as much as they loved me, as much as mom and dad were there for me, if they didn't, then you have to.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that I learned at a very, very young age. It's no, I'm going to protect me, and I'm going to hold myself accountable. But it also, the problem is with that, it manifests itself in other areas of life.
Absolutely. And it's funny because in last week's episode with John Lim, we were just talking about where, you have that little boy or little girl inside of you, and a lot of the suffering from that you experience. And I don't want to say suffering, just the events that shape you.
Absolutely.
End up causing subconscious reactions to life events as you grow older. And depending on whether those reactions are healthy or unhealthy, then they will have long-standing, consequences throughout. So for me, it was, the lack of trust and a lot of fear and a lot of anger.
Yeah.
And it's okay maybe when you're in middle school and you're flying off the handle over someone stealing your pencil.
Yeah.
But as it manifests into in my case, I discovered drugs and alcohol and was able to silence it.
Same.
But when the noise in your head gets so loud, then for me, I needed more drugs and alcohol to
absolutely.
silence it. And that didn't do anything other than silence it temporarily, and that anger and that fire still grows. You said that at that juncture after graduating middle school, you kind of were able to identify it, which is a blessing, because sometimes I mean, in my case, I wasn't able to really identify it until my 30s. And what were some legit steps that you took to kind of change the way that you reacted, or to change the way that you thought? Because I mean, at that point, you were like, all right, like, I'm not going to take this bullshit anymore.
Yeah.
Where do you remember a specific example when you were tested and you reacted differently than you used to?
I think it was in high school. Like some girl just said, she's like, what did she say to me? Like something about like, me being ugly or something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. That's fine. Your dad doesn't think so though. And I had a very dark humor at a very young age. And that's kind of what got me through. You know what I mean? And she like looked at me and she's like, what did you just say? I'm like, I said what I said. What's up? And I was 14. And I knew that I had to stand on business like very, very young in life. And she just like looked at me and I was like, you got something to say? Let's go. But that didn't work either, because having that like really tough exterior, it's like, how long can that really last for? That's the whole thing. And how long can like you really sit there and tell people like, all right, what's up? So made my way through high school, and I had a job in PR, like around college.
Yeah.
And I remember a professor telling me at the time, she goes, I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to do great things. And I was like, yeah, okay, lady, like whatever. And so I went to this, job that I was working at in PR, and it was great. And it exposed me to a lot of stuff, like the good things, the bad things. It was New York 15 years ago, and it was a very different version of New York, and it was fun, but there was a lot of things that I was exposed to that I'm just like, oh shit, like
what?
a lot of drugs. We would have these rooftop parties, and it wasn't done there, but like if you wanted to, you can, get whatever you wanted. And you had mentioned I was in college, double minoring, and I thought I wanted to go to law school at the time. And it was interesting. And I just like remember going to work one day and being like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm so tired. I was working, I had a full-time job, going to school full-time. And somebody said, they're like, just take Adderall. And I was like, what's that? And they're like, you don't know what Adderall is? And I was like, no, what is it? And, it was just like, here, take some. And I was like, this like whoosh.
Yeah.
Feeling.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah. This like, and I was like, oh my God. And for people that have never met me in person, I'm 5 foot nothing. And like, then I was maybe like 115 in weight. And I was like on 20 milligrams, which is like unheard of.
Yeah.
And so that it just, and I said to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm only going to use this to get by in school. I'm only going to use this to get by in school. And that was like, and the problem was after school ended, it's like, you still want that. You still want that high. You still want that buzz. You still want, and it's like, now what? Like, okay, now I'm just tired again. And it was like, all right, I'm 21. I'm 21. I'm 22. I've got New York City in the back of my pocket. Like, I can go anywhere and do anything. So what happens? Alcohol. And sometimes the two get mixed up and one thing leads to another. And it's as you know, it's a dark hole to go down. So yeah, but it was, I had to tell myself, I'm like, whatever this is, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Like this ain't it. So
Were you able to just like stop and just like kind of
Yeah, I was super blessed. I was really, really blessed that I was able to just kind of like wake up one morning and I didn't have this like nothing bad happened. I was just tired of the way I was living, if that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense.
And yeah, so I was just tired. I'm like, this isn't it. Whatever this is, I can't do this anymore. But I was getting it. Like my whole thing was behind it, which is I look back and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? I never paid for it. Like I never had to like, I know girls that, sold themselves basically for it. And there was, no shame.
Yeah.
Do whatever it is you want to do. I don't shame anybody. But I was like, all right, so I'm not selling my body for it and I'm not giving up money for it. So I'm like, all right, I'm good. That's fine. Okay. I know people that have done worse than me, but it's like, you're in the same boat, dude. Like you're still swimming with the same paddles down the same boat. Like,
well, it's not even so much about like what you do for it as much as the reason, like why you're doing it and the inability to control it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
100%.
One of the things you said was, like you wanted to go to law school and, obviously you have a wide variety of different degrees.
Yeah.
And, for me being a child of immigrants and you also being a child of immigrants, that's obviously something that I think immigrant families always lean into, the power of education.
Oh, yeah.
So was that ingrained in you at an early age? And now when you look back at the wall of degrees that you have, where do you feel like what kind of value do you feel like that they hold in your life?
That's a really good question. My dad ingrained in it very early on. I think I was like 10 and he's like, oh, when you go to college, like there wasn't if you go to college, it was when you go to college. And it was like, there was no plan B. You know what I mean? Like it was either college or the military. And there's no nail salons in Kuwait, so I'm not going to the military. Like, absolutely, that's going to be a hard nar for me. No, thank you. So, it was like, and just figure it out, deal with it, and just figure out what you like and make a career out of it. Now, do I think I'm very blessed, again, to have gone down the road that I went. If I had to go back in time, would I do it all over again? Yeah, I would. I would, because that's something nobody can take away from you.
Yeah.
Your education is your education. That stays with you. I'm very big on that. It's not for everybody, and I understand that. But it is one of those things that I'm super proud of. And like when people see that, they're like, oh, wow, like you must. And the whole thing about it is I'm not book smart.
Yeah.
Like people see that and they're like, oh my God, like you must be. I'm like, I'm not.
You just worked hard.
I just really worked hard. I worked hard and I was on Adderall. And this is this is what happens when something's ingrained in you and there is no like going home and telling my parents I'm dropping out of college. That was not an option. Like you could not, no, you didn't do that in my house. Absolutely not. So but I don't, there are no regrets in that aspect. No.
One of the things that I've realized, one of the things that I have kind of taken away from being the children of immigrants and tying it into the podcast, a lot of times our parents' purpose has always been to just provide us with a life here in the United States that's better than them.
Sure.
And then a lot of the times also they plan your future based on the opportunity that's available to you and based on what they would do if they were in your shoes. Because, very much so for me, my parents were like, doctor, lawyer. Obviously, I didn't become either. And then do you think that the children of immigrants in this country, sometimes it's a more difficult journey for them to find their purpose because they are being pushed differently than, say, families who are American families?
Absolutely.
Where maybe like they're a little more open-minded to the options available.
Yeah. Absolutely. 110%. I mean, there's no question. There's no question in my mind about that. It's, my and full disclosure, my mom did go to Hunter College here. So my mom is college educated in the States. But she also came to New York when she was 8 years old, and there was no like plan B for her.
Yeah.
So because there was no plan B for her, there's no plan B for your kids. Whereas somebody who was American born here, you know, that can trace back their roots to the Mayflower, they might have they have to have a different experience than I do, because it's kind of like ingrained, like, no, their failure is not an option. And I think that mixed with my mom, whether she wants to admit it or not, had very, very bad anxiety that she like obviously passed on to my sister and I, whether we want to admit it or not.
Are you an anxious person?
Very. Huge.
Really?
Absolutely. I hide it very well. You'll never catch me slipping on that. I've been diagnosed with anxiety disorder, general anxiety disorder, and recently ADHD, which shocker to anybody, to anybody that knows me. Yeah.
What do those diagnoses mean to you? You know?
So I think for me, the anxiety just means it's like, you know, for me, it's just putting a label on it and realizing that, okay, this is what this means. I'm not alone, obviously. I don't really put too much weight on labels when it comes to that. It's like, all right, I'm an anxious person. Again, hide it very well. Very well. And it's bit me in the ass quite a number of times trying to hide it, because very, very, very bad at a very early age, like panic disorders and just like panic attacks over and over and over again, like, but not dealing with it properly. That's the whole thing. And that's what happens when you don't deal with this shit properly. It's like it manifests in different ways, which sucks.
Yeah.
And you don't get help because it's like, all right, just deal with it, has been the motto of my life for a while.
You know, it's funny because I don't think I've ever really been an anxious person.
That's amazing.
It's kind of, I'm trying to think, like, you know, in the moments that I was anxious, usually it was A, because I was procrastinating about something, or B, because I was like anticipating something that wasn't here yet, if that makes sense.
No, 100%.
So I just, I dealt more with like depression, if I'm being honest. And, you know, even, you know, in that sense, a lot of what that depression was induced by was, you know, traumatic loss or grief and whatnot, which is kind of natural and just really like not facing it. And I, you know, sometimes I think that, what did I hear? I heard the other day that they were talking about anxiety, and there was I think it's like Mark Mattson. He was on some podcast, and he said that anxiety is an allergy to fear.
Anxiety is an allergy. I like that. That's interesting.
And I was like, that's such an interesting perspective, because it makes sense. You know, when you're kind of afraid of something that's either hasn't happened, is going to happen, or you want to happen a different way, then you get those feelings. Yeah. You know, like, what are your thoughts on the tools that are necessary in order to overcome anxiety? Because you said you hide it a lot, and I think hiding it is different than facing it.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my God. I mean, I've hid it for so long, and I've hid it for so well, very well. I think the tools are just, honestly, this is going to sound so cliche. Own it. Own your shit. Like, just sit in it. And I never was able to do that. I was never able to just sit in it and be like, all right, I'm anxious, and here's why. And I was just like, all right, I'll just move on to the next thing and move on to the next thing. But yeah, I think the tools that I was given was just talk about it. Like, have this open communication. Be like, yeah, I'm not feeling right, and why. And that's the whole thing, is why. But you have to actually sit in it. And up until I think I was 33, so 31, I just completely changed everything that I believe in anxiety and depression and like everything that I was going through. So I was never depressed because
Yeah.
I never allowed myself. And I discovered this in therapy. My therapist said, you are the perfect candidate for the fact that you can never be depressed because you never let yourself feel being depressed. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, my grandma died. We buried her. I'm Roman Catholic. We buried her on a Monday. Tuesday morning, I was back in the office. So it was this idea of just putting yourself on autopilot.
Yeah.
And that, 100%. That was like my life, is just throw yourself on autopilot and deal with it and figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I could identify with that because, like, when my mom died, I didn't really face it until it kind of all came to a head. You know, I remember, like, when my mom died, I was in, like, a bout of sobriety, I guess. I don't know, maybe I had, like, 6 months. And I think I continued to stay sober for a few months after. But then, you know, something clicked and I ended up drinking again. I, you know, didn't directly connect it to that unfaced grief, if I may. But it definitely that relapse was definitely attributed to that. And, you know, a lot of times it's kind of like you face everything in them. And it's not going to be like, oh, I faced it today and I'm good. You know, and I think a lot of times, like, life goes so fast that, you know, there is a process, and it could be a week-long process, it could be a month-long process, whatever it is. I also do feel like sometimes people like to throw the word depression around, you know, when they're just sad.
Yes. Oh my God. Like, no, you're having a bad day. Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reel it in, Pookie. You're having a bad day. One thing, like, it's A does not equal B. You know what I mean? Like, I think, and as great as social media is, I think this is where it's like the downfall of it. People are literally sitting on TikTok self-diagnosing themselves. Can we go to a doctor? Can you go to a mental health professional? Can you not diagnose yourself? And it's like, stop throwing around buzzwords that feel good when there are people like you that actually are sitting here and dealing with this and having this. And I feel like it's just such a slap in the face to you and your journey and people like you that are actually want to sit here and do the work. And it's like, no, I'm not diagnosing myself on TikTok.
Yeah.
For the love of God. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Well, I mean, I think just like there's like a lot of false information there's false information out there about everything.
Yeah.
Right. And people are just looking to grasp what makes them feel validated.
Yes.
That they don't bother to check to see whether there's truth behind it. And I think that's like really dangerous, especially when it comes to mental health.
Yes.
You know, one thing that to a certain extent kind of rubs me the wrong way is when you have these fitness influencers who are talking about abstaining from alcohol and they're like, I'm sober. And I kind of am like, no, you're not, you're choosing not to drink consciously.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes I think that by making it look easy and romanticizing it for a, you know, fit body diminishes the struggle that people feel when they are trying to get sober and have been for a very long time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get it. Like that's great. You know, you're not drinking and, you know, by all means, like there are health benefits for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes it's kind of just like, all right, but that's also for the person who's struggling and who's comparing themselves to you and how easy it was to do on your day count.
Yeah.
It's almost like, all right, that's kind of a slap in the face to them because, you know, tomorrow they might, you know, pick up a drug and die.
Yeah.
Right?
100,000,000% yes. And I think that's it's just a huge slap in the face. Like, I don't drink. Well, I have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
For dinner, sure.
Yeah.
I went out to a wine bar last night. Like, when I say that I don't drink, it's one of those things where I'm like, no, I'm not going to go home and get plastered, you know, like that type of thing. Like I used to once upon a time and wonder how I got home. But to that point, you know, stop romanticizing this idea of like, oh, this is like everyone needs to stop drinking and everyone needs to stop doing this. And
it's not even
crap.
that as much as it's funny because like when I talk about my sobriety,
which I love, by the way, I can I just say, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just say more people, especially men, need to talk about this because I feel like I've seen this and guys are like, yeah, I don't drink. And it's almost like, are you like, why? Like I know Tony Peck, I think is on like a, not drinking journey at the moment. And it's amazing. And I love seeing this. And if you're going to see it, celebrate it, like stand in it, which is congratulations. That's amazing. And that needs to be, don't just gloss over that.
It's not that I'm glossing over it, but I also know that like when I talk about my sobriety journey, sometimes people are like taking their own drinking inventory. And it's funny. I'll talk about it. Oh, I don't drink. They'll be like, oh, well, I don't drink that much. And I'm like, listen, man, like
it's not a competition, babe.
Well, it's not about it's just how I live. Like I'm not like you could drink, it's cool. But, if your first impulse is to take your own inventory on whether your drinking is, like that's not the intention behind me sharing that.
No.
And, I think it also kind of comes down to like, I don't really want to talk like sit on the sobriety thing so long because to me it's just natural now. But now when, I feel like we're in this space where when it comes to other like broader mental health issues, people are comparing like whose depression is worse, whose anxiety is worse, and it's not like it's a dangerous game.
It is 100%. And it's a game I don't want to play because what I went through is not necessarily what you went through, is not necessarily what anybody else will go through, nor would I wish that upon anybody. Stop playing this game of, well, I went through X, Y, and Z. Well, congratulations, you lived. You want a cookie? All right, let's go. You lived to see another day. Move on. I think that it's a very slippery slope and it's a very dangerous game that people are playing. That it's like a it's almost like a pissing contest.
Yeah.
You know what? Stop. We don't. That's not what this is about. This is about the fact that you're working on yourself. And somebody actually said that to me. I'll never forget. I said this to somebody, and I met this girl at the gym, and I'm like, oh, she's like, let's go out for drinks. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Just letting you know, I don't drink. And she goes like, what, you think you're better than anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm like, let me adjust.
Yeah.
I was like, ma'am, first of all, no. I'm like,
yeah,
that's your first thought?
Well, I mean, that's their own
me?
insecurities about their drinking.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like whatever, like people, people have said that to me in a way, but at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, like that's your own insecurity. Like, let's move on. Like, sorry, I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Quick break to shout out our sponsor, Relive the Moments. Founded by John Lim, they're redefining how we share memories. From tap-to-play photo frames to interactive coasters, they turn ordinary objects into powerful, shareable experiences. Perfect for weddings, events, or milestone moments. Relive, reconnect, reimagine. Check them out at www.relivethemoments.com. Now back to the show.
One of the things that I like a lot about the podcast is the theme about like not being alone and trying to help, just one other person not have that feeling of alone.
Yeah.
I really want to jump into that because I think that aligns well with, my mission to really just kind of help as many people as I can. And, tell me how that whole partnership kind of like was born.
So I don't know. And when I say I don't know, Lauren and I still to this day are trying to figure out how, like, who DM'd who, what happened. And like, so somebody DM'd somebody slid into somebody's DMs on the circle. And I remember ordering her merch. She's like, there's this whole merch that she has and it's fantastic. And she's so brilliant. And I was just like, so one less human feels less alone. And I was like, that's interesting. I'm like, that's cool. And I was like, I love it. I love the mission. I love the vibe. Like, what are you trying to accomplish here? And I think we sat on the phone for like an hour to an hour and a half. I'm like, I don't know what it is you're doing, but I want in. And the whole thing is, whether it's sobriety, whether it's mental health, whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, you shouldn't do it alone. And you shouldn't have to do it alone. And that's the whole thing. There should be no shame about whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, whether you're a kid, whether you're whoever you are, however you come. just come as a community and just understand that this is so much bigger than you, and understand that there are people who want to support you and you haven't even met them yet. And that's like the really cool thing. And there are people that are cheering you on that you haven't even met yet that like want to have this conversation with you.
How long has Lauren been doing the podcast?
So I think Lauren's been, if I'm not mistaken, Lauren's been on and off, I think I don't remember exactly, but I think maybe a year-ish. I would have to ask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just jumped in like a month ago. So this was...
Where does she record?
So that's the funny thing. She records at her apartment and I jump in. I think it's called the app. You had mentioned it,
Riverside?
Yes. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll record it from my apartment. She'll record it from hers.
Is she in the city too?
She is in New Jersey.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm in Midtown. I'm in Midtown in Manhattan, and she's in New Jersey, not like literally across the river. And but no, she's brilliant. She has, you know, like everybody else, she has her own story, and she is very open and honest about it, and that's what I appreciate. I love people like, you know, you who sit here and have developed this community, and Tony and Lauren, who are just like, you're not alone. And that's the beautiful thing, is like, you don't have to do it alone. And that's kind of like the take home message. That's my take home message too. And I'm sure she can tell you her own, and, you know, not to put words in her mouth, but yeah, no, it's a good vibe.
It's funny because, I think community and connection is like really important. And, you know, but also like kind of understanding that like you can't like help everybody.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've recently had to kind of reel in, where it's like, all right, I'm overextending myself, and then also not prioritizing myself. And, you know, it's a delicate balance, especially when, I am on this podcast, or, the whole goal of hosting events is bringing people together. And sometimes, I need to kind of step away and just be like, all right, like I need to focus on me. Because sometimes you can feel super lonely in a room full of people.
I say this all the time. And I'll use this example. I was in a relationship, and it was the most toxic relationship I've ever been in like romantic, friendship, everything. And I remember being at this wedding, and somebody said, it was literally a room full of people. And you're in a room full of people and you're screaming and no one hears you. And that was like this vibe. And this woman said to me, and she didn't mean it maliciously. She didn't mean it, there was no malintent. She goes, oh my God, you guys look so happy together. And I wanted to be like, bitch, we just stopped screaming at each other before we went into the car, and I had to fix my makeup 3 times and my eyelashes. Like, but thank you so much. But yeah, and it's amazing what people can, you're sitting here trying to save somebody. And my mission, like my whole theme is, and I've learned this like the hard way. I've really learned this the hard way. You're not Captain Save-A-Ho. You cannot save everyone. That is not your purpose. That is not what you're meant for this earth. If you save a couple people, that's great. But like real and raw to the point is like that is no. And if you do help people along the way, beautiful, fantastic, mazel.
Yeah.
But your job is not here to save people. People need to save themselves, and you could help them, but I can't help you if you're not willing to help yourself. And I think that's where a delicate balance comes in.
Well, I think that also happens a lot.
That makes sense.
No, it makes complete sense. And I think in relationships that happens a lot, where, you feel like you could help the other person, but in sacrificing to help the other person, you're not really taking care of yourself.
No.
And, I think people fall into that trap an awful lot.
100%. Yeah, there was a photo I saw, and it makes me tear up every time I see it, or think about it rather. There was a photo at this wedding, actually, and I look like it actually transcends also physically, if that makes sense. So if you're depressed, or if you're sad, or if you're anxious, it'll literally manifest itself sometimes physically. And for me, I saw this photo and I'm like, who is this person? I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. Like my eyes were just like hollow. I was super skinny. I look translucent, which is like normally I like to look nice and tan, despite coming off the plane from Boca. But yeah, it manifests itself and I was sick. I was sick all the time.
Really?
I was super sick all the time. Like I had this lingering cough that didn't go away. Like my stomach just was killing me. I would always I had no energy whatsoever. And I broke it off literally within a matter of a week. Stomach pain goes away. I gained 10 pounds in a matter of like a month, I want to say. And like I had this newfound energy. And I'm like, where the hell did this come from? And it's removing.
Well, it's crazy because stress, like it's mental, but it's, I've been in rough shape before, and a lot of it was stress induced.
Yeah.
Where you wear it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like you wear it, When you think about like the tools that you use now, and, obviously like being on the podcast with Lauren, like you guys are giving valuable information in trying to help people who are in that moment. What tools do you lean on for yourself and your own mental health?
Meditation and medication, literally. And that's it. People are going to laugh about it, but really, like I'm a very spiritual person. I start every day, every morning. I start meditating, which has literally, I think, made a huge difference. How you start your day really does matter. What you say to yourself the first thing you wake up at, before your feet even hit the floor. You know what I mean? You start your day off, and it's like you're laying there, and I'm like, okay, today's going to be a good day. Even if you think it's going to be shit, today is going to be a good day. And you say it over and over and over again. And the other thing is, for me personally, yes, I've gone down the Adderall rabbit hole that I was not prescribed it, but now the medication that I'm on actually really does help. And it's done wonders. Like I just see a whole different human being. I don't have to put myself on autopilot. I can sit there and like I can tell people, no, I don't have time for you today. And learning to say no. I really do believe, if anything else, one of the tools that I've learned is no is a full sentence. I don't have to give you an explanation. No, I don't want to have dinner with you because no, I don't want to put pants on and go out to a restaurant and spend money and have dinner with you. And I think people need to start respecting the no a little bit more. But yeah, just knowing when to say no and knowing when to pull back and knowing that you can't save everybody has been huge for me. Like there's very few people that I'll pick up the phone, like no matter what time of day, you know what I mean? No matter what I'm doing, my sister being one of them. My sister's a cop in the South Bronx. So when she rings, I'm just like, I'll literally stop everything I'm doing and just be like, all right, I have to take that call. But yeah, that's one of those things that I'm just like very, very passionate about. Is like I've learned boundaries, which is I never had. I was the yes person. I was the I'll show up anytime, any place. Somebody invited me. I'm like, oh my God, absolutely, yay. And I was exhausted. And it wasn't fun. I was not fun to be around. Whereas now I hope I'm a little more fun to be around.
You're fun to be around.
Thank you.
You're definitely fun to be around.
I appreciate that.
But you said so much there. Like,
Yeah.
I think that part of that journey to self-love really is learning how to say no, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But, in the larger sense, it's also just the boundary thing that you alluded to. Because if you are saying yes to everything, and I think, if I'm being
Please.
if I'm being accurate from everything you're telling me, it's like it's the people pleasing,
Yeah.
and like I would say that I can fall into people pleasing habits, and I think it's when I do that, it's because I'm letting someone kind of cross a boundary and or I feel uncomfortable saying no to someone because I'm afraid of how they're going to react.
Yeah.
And, oftentimes, like, it's something I don't want to do, and I'm not really happy. Like, it's funny because sometimes I go to a bunch of events, right? But lately I've really been just like, no, like I don't want to make that commitment because I also kind of live kind of further out where if I make a commitment to go to your event, then I'm sacrificing my own sleep. I'm sacrificing, potentially a project I'm working on, the time that I could be using for that. I'm sacrificing time with family. And, like, it needs to really be packed with value in order for me to, just see the worth in sacrificing all of that.
Yeah.
It's taken me a really long time to establish boundaries and say no and not care about, who it's affecting.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say who it's affecting. That sounds so brazen. But like saying no and understanding that I'm saying no for me, not to hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I completely agree. And to that point, I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, my handle literally is Shut Up Steph. That's my Instagram handle. And I think because I've been told, to like just say yes to everything. Just say yes and don't disappoint. Don't ever. And I think that's the immigrant, parents and children in us. It's the first generation. It's like, don't say, don't disappoint anybody. You can't disappoint. Don't ever do that, But, and I think it's like now, it's like, no, I don't, if I disappoint you by me not showing up to something, are we friends?
Yeah.
Are we really friends? Like if no, I don't want to put pants on for that, babe. I don't want to do that.
You keep talking about your pants.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Absolutely not. No, thank you. So, but there's boundaries. There's boundaries, and I got to this point that you're either going to respect it or you're not. And then are we really friends? And do you really value, my friendship? So
It's funny because in my episode with Roman a couple of weeks ago,
I'm so excited.
We were talking about that, and oftentimes the people that you have to put the boundaries up for are the people who love you the most. And that's something I could totally identify with, and it's awkward at first, but for me, I needed to do that in order to understand the role that they played in like the traumatic periods of my life, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So because I mean most of the time it's not like family, it's not friends and like colleagues who are like inflicting that deep-seated trauma. It's going to be the people who are closest to you, your family, and the people who love you. And as an immigrant, a child of an immigrant, like a lot of that trauma comes from their lived experience as well. And, that's something that I think about all the time. And, to be honest with you, I probably didn't do the best, particularly with my mom. Obviously, like she passed away, but I wish I had the presence of mind to ask her more about like what it was like and, how she felt during these periods of her life. Now I really can just only assume and hear the stories about what, other family members do. But it's funny because this Father's Day, I gave my dad a book, and it was this book where I think on the cover it said like, Dad, I want to hear your story.
I love that.
Did you see that?
Oh my God, it's been on my TikTok. Like literally, it's yes.
I got him that, and I sent it to him. I gave it to him, and I was like, like take your time with it, fill it out. Like, me and Amber would love to see this because, it might answer a lot of questions, down the road. My dad's older now, like at the end of the day, like having that, I think it's gonna be really valuable for both of us.
Yeah.
As long as he fucking answers it. Honestly.
That's the whole thing. You have to like actually fill out the pages. Yeah.
He might just answer to make himself look good.
Yeah. That's fine. And I mean, like, no, I need you to answer this honestly.
Yeah.
I love that you said that. My grandmother passed away. It's 2 years now. And she was amazing. Like she was just the toughest woman you'll ever meet. And she came to this country at 33 or something like that. I forgot, in her 30s. Raised my mother and was a widow very, very young. Like by the time she was 40. And just did everything by herself. And I kind of sat her down and asked her one day, I'm like, I kind of did like the what's your story?
Yeah.
Like, just asked her like what happened, and she went into like details that I was just like, why that took a left, that was. But I think those stories are important because I think they helped me understand where I came from, and they also I also understood my mother's anxiety because I truly do believe that anxiety is passed down and anxiety is taught, and to a certain degree. And, my mother being a very, very anxious person, I inherited that. And I realized that. And then there are times where I have to catch myself. I'm like, oh, I'm doing that again. Like, all right, let me stop. Like, okay, that's not what this is. this is something completely different. And but I had to set boundaries. I had to set very, 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 very strong boundaries with her and I. I'm like, listen, I'm an adult. If we're gonna have a woman to woman conversation, you're gonna come correct.
Yeah.
And you're gonna step correct, because not only are you in my home, I own my own home. I'm a homeowner. You're not going to come into my apartment and like rearrange everything. And that gave me, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, go read a Martha Stewart catalog, you psycho. Like, what's going on? And but those were boundaries that I really like had to put into place, and just be like, no, you're not going to come into my apartment and like and stalk my location on Find My Friends, which is where
Your mom does that?
Oh my God. It's like her favorite hobby. It's just so it's intense. And she's like, well, what are you doing tonight? I saw you were out in Fi-Dye. How you doing? What's going on? And I'm like, ma'am, can you like do something? Like, I don't know. Pet a dog, sniff some grass, like get off your Apple phone. I swear to God, I'm getting her a Nokia. Like one of those, like,
I don't think they make those anymore.
Whatever's the equivalent of today, that's what I'm getting her. But yeah, it was very anxiety ridden. Like, and I'm just like, so I lied. And I'm like, I was at church. What's up?
She's like, I saw you weren't at church.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
I track your location.
Exactly. Like, and I'm like, all right, if that's your favorite hobby, have at it. But no,
Families is so weird.
They are. And I think if I ever have children, if I ever get married. Welcome to dating in New York. It sucks. Yeah, if I ever get married and have children, like I know, I'm like, all right, my mom did this. I don't think I want to do this. I don't want to inflict my children with this type of crap.
It's funny because one of the things that I've learned about families is every family has secrets. Every family has something or family members that there are stories that they hide. And I learned that just by being around a lot of families and being, invited into their homes. And like, I have best friends where I consider them family and they consider me family. And just every family has secrets. And I think a lot of like the deep-seated kind of issues that like resonate like throughout the years have always been like that it's rooted in those secrets. You know what I'm saying? Rooted in those secrets, rooted in the attempt to cover them up, and rooted in the daily attempt to appear as a normal family. But I don't think there is any such thing as a normal family.
Absolutely not. I learned by like interviewing my grandma. It was literally an interview.
Yeah.
Like, why am I the way I am? Like, why am I so anxious? Why am I so, just like on 10 all the time? And I learned, so, dad's dad was an alcoholic, major alcoholic, diabetes, was abusive and all that. And it's just like, all right, so we're just going to cover this up and we're just going to pretend this like doesn't happen. And yeah, but everyone has their thing. And I think my family was like, we're just going to cover up the fact that like, and that he was an abusive alcoholic when he was dying because he gave, not taking care of yourself properly. It was like, so we're just going to like pretend like he just didn't abuse everybody. Yeah. Like we're all on the same page here. Did we like take a consensus about this? And everyone was just like, oh no. And everyone was sad. I'm like, I'm sorry, am I missing something?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is like, what are we doing, people? I'm like, why? So
I feel like every family has a secret like that.
That makes sense.
And every family has every family has a secret like that, right? And then no one wants to talk about it.
Right. Oh no.
And at the end of the day, the person could be gone now. And what good are we doing by not talking about it and sharing with it? Because it could answer a lot of whys, and for me, that's something where I've just kind of understood. And, similar to the conversation that you had with your grandma, I had a very similar conversation with my dad where it wasn't really like an angry conversation as much as it was like, I need to know what was happening when this was going on.
Yeah. And you deserve that.
And your perspective. And, at the end of the day, I understand.
You deserve that. You
Yeah.
deserve answers because this is your life.
Yeah.
There's no reset. There's no rewind. There's no reset. I feel like you deserve to have those answers given to you. And like, that was like my thing. It was like, what are we doing? Like, I need to know, why and what's going on, what happened. But that's the whole thing. Like, nobody wants to talk about this. They never also had me in their family that, I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm like, he's dead. I'll air out everything. I'm like, that's fine by me. Like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll be the bad guy. That's cool. But yeah, there was just a lot that was happening. And I'm just like, this is okay. Like,
Yeah.
we're celebrating his life. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. Like, I'm good. And I've literally completely distanced myself from, you want to talk about boundaries. I have an entire ocean in between certain people because boundaries are that strong that I will not speak to my father's side of the family for a multitude of reasons, because like the narcissism is strong. Let me tell you, it's really, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm not dealing with this crap, and I'm out here in New York. No, absolutely not. We're not doing that.
Yeah, I really make it a point just to hang out with people who kind of make me feel good.
Yeah.
I think like feeding off that type of energy is really important. And, people who don't make me feel good, I'll be cordial with you.
Oh, I won't.
But,
God bless you.
well, I'll be cordial.
That's nice. You're really good. You're a good
I mean, what are you
person.
going to do? At the end of the day, a lot of the reasons why they're not, a lot of the reasons why people are that way is because they have their own pain. And, I can respect that and understand that. So, like, that's kind of why I'm like, all right, like, I may think that you're an asshole, but you're an asshole for a reason. And a lot of that reason has nothing to do with me. And, all I can do really is pray for you because, at the end of the day, hopefully, you can look in the mirror one day and understand that it's something that I need to face, or you need to face,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think to that point, the quote, and I absolutely hate it. I hate this stupid quote. It's like, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
I hate that quote.
Why?
My whole thing is, if you're hurt, go fix yourself. Do not hurt other people because you are hurt, which is very controversial, I know to say, and I get that. But it's like, don't go around hurting people because you're hurt. Go get therapy. Go talk to somebody about it. But it is horrific for you as a human being, just because you're going through some shit, to hurt somebody else. And it's terrible. But I understand, I totally got what you're saying. And that to me is like one of those things that I'm just like, I couldn't see myself doing that. I couldn't see myself hurting somebody. And even when I was hurting, I still could not hurt somebody else because I was hurting.
Well, I think
Maybe
I
I'm
get what
weird.
you're saying. I think hurt people, when they say hurt people, it's not intentional that they're hurting people. I could say it from personal experience. When I was in the depth of my pain, I didn't realize I was hurting everyone around me. I think a lot of it's unintentional,
That's fair.
if you may. Like, but I get what you're also saying. But sometimes when you're that hurt, there isn't that much light. You don't know where the light at the end of the tunnel is. So like, I'm really just speaking from my own experience where like, I didn't know what the next step was for me to get help. Or I didn't know if anyone would really help me, because I think the more hurt you are, the less that you have a feeling of self-worth. So it's really not like the intention to hurt somebody else as much as it is you don't even value your own self enough to go get help.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, that totally makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah. It's just, no, I that I agree with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's, for me, I've seen people like intentionally hurt other people because they can. And I'm like, you're just a dick. Like,
well, those are
yeah.
narcissists.
Yeah. That's you're
Yeah.
just an ass.
Yeah, no, I mean, like narcissists, and I've been around a lot of narcissists, from bosses to people in my family, and it's kind of wild to see the way narcissists move, because a lot of them are successful. I've met a lot of people who are very successful, and then when you really peeled back the onion and you sat down and you saw the way they actually moved and you saw the way they treated people, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And they are the best at making people look the other way. Or I guess it's gaslighting, you know?
Yes. I completely agree with that. Yeah. I mean,
The con artist.
that's literally what you are you're a con artist. You are just somebody who is, they have to be successful in something. So they're successful in either business. They're successful in some type of whatever environment that they're in. And but
It's really ego driven.
100%, especially in finance. I see that a lot. I see that a lot. Everyone has, oh my God, I'm one Patagonia vest away from literally just burning like the whole place down, because and I'm very fortunate where I am now is not so much ego driven, but I've been in other places in other establishments where I was just like, I'm sorry, I want to know who died and gave you the license to be this much of a jackass. Just curious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they are in this old Wolf of Wall Street glory days.
Yeah.
That it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like anything goes, and it's like, no. We're different now. We're a little bit, we try to be a little bit better.
I think when also finance guy, in the financial, when you bring finances in, financial standing can always boost ego and really feed the worst impulses. So that's why you could see that sometimes in the financial space, but I think you could see that in any space. I really want to kind of pivot and talk about purpose and what it means to you and how you navigate purpose.
That's a really good question. I think my purpose in life recently that I've discovered is leave people a little bit better than you found them. Mm-hmm. And I try to do that every day. My purpose has been and always will be just try to be a good person. I know that sounds like super cliche and like, I should say something more profound, but it's just that's what it comes down to. And with the people that I hang around with are very, very good energy human beings. You, Lauren, Tony, some of my really good girlfriends who have been with me for a while. My sister, for example, just leave people a little bit better. Don't be a Richard, as Lauren says. Don't be a Richard. That's we actually have merch that says that. Don't be a Richard. So it's
that's
pretty
funny.
It is.
I have a really good friend named Richard, and he's awesome.
Poor guy. But yeah, just that's my purpose, and just don't. Not everything I'm learning has to be out of 10. It's like you can take a step back. You could take a step back and, just have a little empathy. And I think that that goes a long way. And I've learned that the hard way throughout life. So just be a good person. It's not hard.
What are 3 habits that you incorporate on a daily basis in order for you to remain grounded in your purpose?
Remind myself that I'm not perfect. Remind myself that, one, it's okay. You're a human being. You're going through a human being process. Give grace. 2, maybe reach out to somebody. I try to do this on a daily basis. I try to just reach out to somebody and be like, hey, I miss you. How are you? How's everything? Even if I don't get a text back, that's cool. That's totally fine. But just know eventually that I know that person's going to see it. And 3, I don't know what my 3rd one is. That's really good. I think that's I don't know. I don't think I have a 3rd one. I think it's just it goes day to day.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't really wake up in the morning and think all right, today I'm going to rule the world and just be this Mother Teresa. Oh.
Just kidding.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I wake up in the morning usually and I have this daily reflections book. Me and John were talking about that earlier. And so I have this daily reflections book that it is like AA literature, but I read it. Mm-hmm. Then I meditate for 15 minutes, and then I stay still somewhere. Whether it's sitting up in my bed or whether it's downstairs or wherever it is, I try to stay still somewhere for like another 10 minutes after meditation.
That's interesting.
One of the things I was doing, and I really should get back into the habit of doing, is going outside and getting vitamin D right away.
Yeah.
Like people say, like I was doing it, and people tell me always to do it, and I always just like honestly forget. But like the first two are very key. The first one grounds me in my sobriety. The second one kind of just clears my head, and then I can get on with my day. I try not to look at my phone in the first hour. Some days I'm good at it. Some days I'm not.
I'm terrible at that. That's the first thing I do, and it's literally it's such a bad habit. And I'll just grab it. Like I'll just be like,
I get that. I got that from Jay Shetty. Jay Shetty's like a huge like I love everything he does, and I got that from him. And it was really early on in this whole like growth journey that I embarked on like 3 years ago, and it was something that has been effective because the way he broke it down was that when you grab your phone right away when you wake up, you're basically making your brain go from 0 to 60 in 1.2 seconds.
Yeah.
And just like anything else, it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
And so if the first thing you see when you wake up is something negative or something where you're going to immediately compare yourself, mentally it could set you up for the entire day to kind of be on that hamster wheel, which I agree with.
Yeah.
And listen, there are some days where like I sent a text message the night before and curious about the person responding.
Yeah.
And I'll do it. But I do notice that when I do that, my demeanor is a little bit off, so for me, it's helped to kind of like keep me calm like throughout the day. Like, I don't know, today, sometimes I'm calm, sometimes I'm not.
No.
But yeah.
I'm internally laughing because I sent you a text the other day and you didn't respond. And I don't know why. Like I grabbed my phone. I'm like, that's weird. Adam didn't text me back. And I'm like, I'm sure he's alive. All right. Like literally, but those 15 seconds, like I totally understand. I'm like, is he okay? And I'm like, yeah, I think he's all right. All right, cool, whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah. Another one to add now that I think about it. I walk my dog in the morning and I live kind of like in this, I live in this like cul-de-sac area.
Cul-de-sac in fucking Midtown?
It's the only one in Midtown. It's literally like off to the side. Nobody knows about it. I love living here because no one like knows where I live. And I'll tell people Midtown East and they think like Murray Hill, Kips Bay, like, finance bro Mecca. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. Meanwhile, it's like this little like area off to the side and it has like its own steakhouse, its own nail salon, its own like,
What's the name of the steakhouse?
Tudor City Steakhouse. Huh. Yeah.
Well, now everyone knows where you live. So anyway,
come visit me. I'm sure. But yeah, walking my dog is really therapeutic, and I'll just sit there, and it's really nice because like I live right by the water, and I'll just like look over the water, and it's super peaceful, and it's just nice to kind of like,
love that.
Just zen out, and yeah, and I try to do at least. I have to get better at it, but I try to do at least one retreat a year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I've done
You should host one.
I would be a terrible
Shut Up Steph retreat.
retreat.
Yeah.
Welcome
You should do that
2026. I should.
Yeah.
I don't know who would show up, but I'll put feelers out
circle
there.
people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fine.
If they're watching this,
Just don't do it in Midtown.
No. I
peaceful
want us to go to like a really cool place, like Mumbai, or like
Mumbai.
Yeah, I want us to go to
fucking India.
Oh yeah. We're going go big.
It's the mother country.
I was gonna say go big or go home, baby. We're going to Mumbai. We're going to Dubai. We're going to like Abu Dhabi. We're going to like We're doing some deep shit. Costa Rica. I don't know where else do people zen out. I'm trying to think. I don't know, but that I would love to host a retreat.
Coming soon. Shut Up Steph retreat.
That would be terrifying. Don't manifest that.
I am. I have one last question.
Yes.
What advice would you give to someone on that journey of finding purpose?
What advice would I give to somebody? Keep going. Whatever it is, just go through it. Go through it. Understand everything is temporary. Sadness is temporary. Anger is temporary. Happiness is temporary. And whatever you're going through, go through it, feel it. Don't just say you're okay. The other thing, two things. One, go through it, and if you need help, and you know when you need help, reach out for it, because you have a whole community behind you, and find your people. I think that's so important. I think you have to find people that are aligned with your purpose, and that's not going to be everybody. And it took me a couple of tries to find like my people, because I'm not made for everybody, clearly. But yeah, I think it's go through it, and you're going to come out on the other end a better person.
Love that. Love that.
Thank you.
Steph Rusin, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Really grateful for you taking the journey up here to great state of Connecticut. Claudio won't agree because he's a New Yorker at heart too. So, but want to thank you for coming. I really appreciate the conversation. I appreciate our friendship, and let's keep going. And looking forward to the upcoming retreat that you're gonna plan
in Mumbai,
wherever you want to do it. I don't care. Let's do it local. Let's start local, and then maybe
Vegas.
Short. That's not a retreat.
Oh, Miami.
No.
Oh, all right. Well, you know what? We'll put this on the vision board.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, put it on the vision board.
Yeah. We'll flip. We'll put. You know what I want to do? I want to put a bunch of locations like a fishbowl, and just pick a random location. Be like, all right, North Korea, anywhere else, places that we could actually get to.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
man.
So I don't get out very often.
Clearly. That's all right. Either way, I want to shout out my boy Claudio, Kai Visions. If you need any media, or you want to create any content, you want to launch your own podcast, he's your guy. He works tirelessly for me and makes sure that every episode comes out crisp, and he's passionate about what he does. So I really would encourage anybody to reach out to me if they're trying to elevate their brand, elevate their business, whatever they need. Steph, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I didn't give you a minute to talk to the camera and tell my audience anything that you have upcoming and how they can reach you.
So my Instagram handle is shutupsteph.
Let's get you
on thank you. Yeah, there you go. Appreciate that. Instagram handle is shutupsteph. You can find me at co-hosting the WhyGo Project Podcast, and I'm pretty boring. Other than that, that's
not boring.
That's what I have going on.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. Please don't hesitate to like, subscribe, comment, engage at the Finding Purpose Podcast YouTube channel, Apple, anywhere you consume podcasts. Until next time, folks, thank you so much.